All right, we're back for the second half of our drafts. Same people. It's going to actually be the same order since we're halfway through. So, Laura, you're going to start our second half of the draft with your fifth pick and 17th overall.
I'm actually going to skip my fourth pick or my fifth pick and move on to my next pick because I really want to see this one on the list. Suspiria.
Ooh.
1977, Dario Argento.
Italiano.
It was this psychedelic 70s bright colors. Every scene, the walls are pink and yellow and bright colors, but absolutely petrifying. And it made it so you're looking at all these bright colors and thinking, oh, what could happen? Scared the crap out of me. It's based on this. And now there is a sequel or a remake. There is a remake.
There's a trilogy though. Suspiria is part of third. It's the third in a trilogy, right?
I don't think so. I don't know.
Pretty sure.
We might
I'll look it up.
We're gonna do a Google search.
You keep going.
Okay, that's fine.
But it was so well done. You never feel safe in this movie. There's a lot of that scritchy music that keeps you on the edge of your seat. A lot of gore. Yeah. Apparently, I am a big fan. It is a trilogy, really. The Three Mothers.
Yeah, that would make sense. I think it's the third one.
Yeah, that would make sense.
I believe it's the last one in the Argento.
Yeah, you are correct, sir.
Okay.
That's why I keep you around. But yeah, and they did do a remake, I think, in 2018. Okay. That actually was very good. I was very shocked because normally I'm not a big fan of remakes. The remake that came out in 17 or 18. Very well done. In fact, I would almost consider it a little bit better because what's her name? Twyla Swanson or Twyla Swanson.
I don't remember.
You didn't see it? Okay.
I've seen Spirit. I just don't remember her name.
Yeah, she plays in a bunch of things. I'll Google it later.
That's fine.
But it was really well done.
Okay. All right. So Suspiria. It's called
Suspiria.
Suspiria. Okay.
Suspiria.
All right. I'll add that to my
a good foreign
checkout list. All right, very good. All right, Matt, you got your fifth pick and 18th overall coming up.
Okay, I'm gonna go with. It's hard to beat The Exorcist for this one. That is just. I mean, you can't watch that movie alone and not get a little freaked out when you see the little kid, turn into a demon pretty much and spit pea soup at a priest.
Linda Blair.
I mean, she grew up relatively normal, but man, is that messed up. Like, the whole the crucifix scene, what she does to herself, that's a whole different. Then you hear about what they told her as a childhood actor. I don't want to get too graphic on the show, but
yeah, right.
It's an interesting story if you ever look it up. The extra footage they added in the spider walk down the stairs is really cool. And I know there was certain elements kind of like in The Shining where they were actually hurting people. Like the lead actress, I'm blanking right now, but there was like a rope tied around her and they pulled her one time when she's supposed to be thrown across the room and she started screaming. And it's because she was really hurt. Like the director told him, like, pull hard, like I want you to hurt her, and yanked her into the wall, and she's actually crying because they beat her up.
And I think Linda Blair had some issues when they were having her shoot up and down on the bed.
Sure.
That messed her up, I think, too.
I mean, just the tension in the movie is awesome. I keep going back to tension. Obviously, that's something I really like. But there isn't. The effects are great. I mean, they had a room that they dropped the temperature and spun around and did all kinds of weird stuff in it. I mean, just everything about that movie. The book's terrifying too. It's based on a William Friedkin book, I believe. Sequels, what do you got to do? Right. But the original, top notch.
Yeah, I well, obviously they have a little bit better actors and actresses union in Hollywood now, where they'll have stunt people do all that stuff for them now. But
they're not beating up actors for effect anymore.
Like you had mentioned in The Shining and stuff, where she's legitimately like mentally messed up because they're just over and over and over traumatizing her. And sounds like same thing in this movie too. But you get good results, unfortunately, from some of the stuff you got to do. So, all right. So The Exorcist, and again, Doug, I think that goes back to your point too of that's you know, you hear that could be real life stuff, you know, whatever you believe or don't believe, but that shit's freaky. So
my father will not watch that movie because he says it's against our religion. I guess when it first came out, the Pope came out and said, nope, no Catholics should watch that movie. It's against our religion.
Yikes,
so he won't watch it. I know. My younger sister, because she is so, to this day, I just talked to her on my way here, believes that this could happen. She will not watch that movie.
Yeah, I mean, if you watch that,
never watch it.
You know, it literally just creeps you the F out just because, you know, you just don't, I don't know, whatever you believe, whatever you don't believe, it's just creepy.
And there's been, you know, hundreds of exorcism movies ever since, and none of them come close to number. I mean, that's just, you know, it was done perfect the first time. You know, they're what's the one with the sister from Dexter?
Oh, the exorcism of
Emily
Rose.
That's probably about as close as you're going to get to another good one, but even then it's not as good. I mean, you know, the little kid is like the terrifying presence is really a big part of it. It's kind of like in Child's Play. It's just this little thing you're not supposed to be scared of, and all of a sudden,
we
got a big problem.
That's a big movie trope.
That movie, that Emily Rose one, her acting and her ability to physically contort her body the way she did.
And the courtroom,
that was amazing.
The courtroom angle in that movie was cool too, with the priest on trial. Yeah, it was a good movie. It's just it's no Exorcist. Nothing else is.
No doubt.
But that's a good honorable mention. If we have a list,
The
Exorcism of Emily Rose
should be an honorable.
That's a good honorable mention.
Okay. All right. Good deal. All right. I'm going to come back with, I have this as my 5th overall. I don't dive deep into horror movies probably as much as the three of you, but this is a mainstream horror movie, but I think it led to a whole series of other movies, at least 4 or 5 other movies being made, but The Conjuring. So I'm going with The Conjuring, and, you know, based on, I forget the doctors' names offhand, but the Warrens, yes. So based on real life people, whether, you know, it's exaggerated or what, but, you know, obviously the Annabelle, you know, which could get drafted later, but, you know, that it just led into a whole series of different movies with the Warrens.
I've never been a big Conjuring guy. I felt they relied too much on jump scares, and
yes,
I like a good jump scare, but that's I just felt like that's all was going on. Like, I don't know. I got to give them another chance. I think everyone keeps telling me
when she was looking down that basement with the match and it clapped out. Nope.
Yeah, that part.
I jumped right out of my seat.
Just a jump scare.
There's the armoire scene in the bedroom that's freaky. And again, she gets kind of like possessed in the movie as well. So, you know, that goes along with the whole possession theme too. But I think,
how are the sequels? Because I wasn't really too turned on by number 1. I never got into the rest of them.
There's a couple, because, well, if you include the Annabelle franchise amongst that, there's probably at least 5, I would think.
And there's the one, the La Llorona.
So you got 6. Like you got 3 Conjuring, 2 Annabelle, and La Llorona.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know about it. I just I haven't seen them yet.
But obviously people are paying to go see it, and, you know, so it's doing well.
I'll give it another whirl.
Okay. All right, Doug.
I trust your opinion.
We are Doug, we're back to you with your 5th and 6th pick. So however you want to take this, number 20 and 21 overall.
All right, so 5th pick, I'm gonna go with the 90s on this one. I'm gonna actually have my daughter. She just walked over. I'm gonna have her make this pick for me.
Oh boy! All right, Emerson coming in.
Emerson coming in here.
I am.
So,
Hocus Pocus.
Hocus Pocus.
Hocus Pocus.
Good call.
Good
pick, Emerson.
That's one that, you know, when we were younger, it was actually appropriate to
watch
compared to some of the other ones I'm saying here. But and that's one that I've been watching with her now for the past few years. And she just asked me today about watching Hocus Pocus coming up to Halloween. So
absolutely,
it's a good one. That's more Halloween movie than horror movie, but it's a good one though.
Yeah, no, and I mean that obviously like even has like Salem witch trials like history in it and all that stuff. And like you said, it's an appropriate movie for really anyone. And if you've never seen it, you can watch it literally every day in October on whatever that Freeform channel. So no, that's good. That's good. Thank you, Emerson, for making that pick. All right, Doug. So you got your 90s in. Where are you going next?
Okay, so I'm gonna go to the 80s next. And I'm gonna go with another one. This is, I mean, same thing. One that I was watching, came out before I was born. But one that my sister and I we used to request. We used to request to watch it all the time. 1985, Fright Night.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
good one.
Good call.
Good one.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while since I've seen it now, but yeah, that's a great one too. I love that one. That movie.
Let me throw out my Fright Night factoid here.
Okay.
One of the main actresses in that movie is Marcy Darcy from Married with Children.
That is her.
Yeah.
Whoa, I never.
And it's a little creepy because she's like a 16 or 17-year-old girl in the movie, and the one vampire is like, you know, he's a vampire. He's not worried about age, but you know, he's trying to sleep with her and do all this other stuff too. So yeah, you know. That's a good one though. I have Fright Night on my honorable mentions list.
Okay.
That's a good one. All right. So Doug, you got the 70s, the 60s, 50s, 40s, 90s, and 80s all covered. So
Yeah.
I think you're going new on your next two picks. All right.
Yeah.
It is back to me. This is my sixth pick overall and 22nd overall. I am gonna go with, oh man, so many ways to go with this. I'm gonna go a little bit further down on my list, but I love this movie. I think it's a very underrated movie. It's a 6 Degrees of Separation Kevin Bacon movie. It is A Stir of Echoes.
Oh yeah, it's a great movie.
Good
Love Stir of
movie.
Echoes.
So I'm
It's
going
like the better
to
Sixth Sense.
yes.
I need to put that on my rewatch.
Love that
list.
movie.
So I'm going with The Stir of Echoes. It is psychologically creepy. It's jump scare creepy, but it's an
Great
actual
story.
Exactly. It's an
Great
actual
fight.
good movie. So
Catherine Herb's in it. She's fantastic.
a lot of big names in this movie too. So well acted, well directed, well played. So I'm going with The Stir of Echoes, number 22.
I think that came out right around the same time as The Sixth Sense, and because there's similar elements, I remember it kind of being overshadowed, and everyone wanted to talk about that. But this was like, you know, it felt like the grown-up version. It's like, all right, this is the nastier,
exactly,
you know, not as kid-friendly, not with the what a twist at the end, Shyamalan.
And I think to this day,
he made 2 good movies. That's it. But
part of me would like to get hypnotized, but this movie has made me completely frightened of being hypnotized. So
he's floating in the chair and all that stuff.
Exactly. So scary.
I need to watch that again.
Yeah,
great movie.
Highly recommend. A Stir of Echoes, 22 overall. Matt, you are up with your 6th pick overall.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go with Shaun of the Dead.
Okay.
Good one.
Not as good as you're gonna get for horror comedy.
Okay. I
don't
like
think
it.
anyone's done it better than Simon Pegg. I mean, it's scary, it's hilarious, it's British, so that's always cool to watch. As far as just a straight great zombie flick, outside of the original, which, you know, it's on everyone's list. So let's make this a little more interesting. Not that have you ever met someone who didn't like Shaun of the Dead though?
Yeah, you know, it's one of those movies I kind of vaguely remember from college, but I think every time I watched it, I was probably a little bit drunk, so I don't fully remember it. but I remember it being more a comedy from what I remember, not necessarily scary, but it fits into that.
You sound like this group of guys I mentioned this to the other day, and they're like, "That's a comedy, it's not horror." And I was like, you know, you can do both. It's classified as horror comedy,
no doubt.
Too.
No doubt.
There are some, you know, like when he has to kill his mom. I mean, come on, there's nothing funny going on there, you know, and coming at him. It's got its moments.
Definitely not.
And there's absolute tension when they're in the Winchester and they're surrounded and you can't get the over under shotgun to work. It's, it's quite frightening.
Okay. All right. All right. Very good. Laura's going to finish out the 6th round and start the 7th round. So Laura, you got picks 24 and 25.
All right. This is one I watched as a teenager. I feel like it still holds up. I have watched it several times since then. And it does have another actor we were talking about earlier, Justin Long, that you were mentioning in Drag Me to Hell.
Mm-hmm.
Jeepers Creepers.
I thought you were going to say Tusk. Yeah.
No, Jeepers Creepers.
That's a great movie.
That was such a good movie to watch in the theater.
You seen Tusk?
I did not.
Kevin
Is
Smith
that on my list?
It's not on my list, but it's still cool.
No, I mean, do I need to add
it to a
list?
Yes, you should. It's a Justin Long, but it's a Kevin Smith. I think it's Kevin Smith.
It is Kevin Smith.
Yeah, Tusk on the list. Anyway, sorry. Jeepers Creepers.
Jeepers Creepers. I mean,
Laura, what was the deal with him? He only came out like X amount of years.
Once every 27 years.
Until the sequel.
Until the sequel.
He's like, I'll come back next week.
We're not talking about the sequels. The sequels are not on this list.
I want to break the rules.
So he came out like once every 27 years or something like that. And he'd have to eat certain body parts off of certain people that had a certain smell to them or had a whatever they were. Like, oh, he liked your eyes, so he was coming at you and he would just eat your eyes. Or, oh, your liver looks good.
Because he likes your peepers.
He definitely would not want my liver, but he was going after someone's liver.
It's like eating a soccer ball.
Right? That's a dried up raisin. What? I don't want it. But it was really, and you never really saw him until the very end. You just saw him in the shadows, or you just saw the truck that was chasing them. And it just built up this tension because you thought he was chasing the one sibling. It was a great twist. Mm-hmm. I loved it. And in fact, my younger sister and I, when I was telling her about the list, she was like, that has to be on the list. So it's on the list. And I agreed. I do still enjoy watching that movie.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Not the sequels.
And that movie was, again, like kind of right in our high school wheelhouse, like that late 90s, ish, early 2000s. I can't remember exactly when it came out, but right in that wheelhouse.
I had a giant crush on Justin Long.
I thought you were going to say the Creeper.
No. Yeah, the Creeper too. That's more my style now. But I did.
Maybe Justin Long is a creeper. Who knows? Oh, man. Love it.
Yeah,
all right, Laura. So you got one more. So which way are you going to go on this one?
All right. I'm actually going to go to the 80s. And I'm going to talk about Jacob's Ladder.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Good stuff.
Jacob's Ladder. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it.
I know the premise. I don't know the movie.
So a Vietnam vet, Tim Robbins, comes back from Vietnam, has definitely PTSD type issues. He starts hallucinating things, or he may be hallucinating things. You're not sure. And the things he sees, like the scene on the dance floor where she ends up with that tail. There are certain scenes.
I mean, to laugh. I'm just the description is great.
Yeah. Well, so he's on the dance floor.
It like Super Mario 3, just a raccoon tail. It was real cute.
Real cute, except for a picture with a demon tail. He's dancing with this girl on the dance floor, and all of a sudden he feels something like hitting his leg type deal, and he looks down, and she has this demon tail coming out of her. I lost my mind watching it. Oh, hi, Coco. Gabby's dog needs out. But it was a really good cinematography, great storyline, great ending. The ending, it wasn't this huge surprise, but it definitely put me on the edge of my seat as it was happening.
Okay. You're giving me some movies to check into. So Jacob's Ladder and Suspiria, I'm looking into for sure. All right, so that brings it back. I know Matt's got Coco, so
the dog's here now too.
Oh, that's fine. That makes this a little less frightening. So
we'll get her in there.
Absolutely. So we got. She want to make your next pick here? Coco, want to make the next pick? 26 overall.
Well, if she could talk, Coco is going to choose.
Yeah.
Do I have one more round after this or not? This is my final.
You got one more round. You have 2 more picks.
Okay. 2 more picks. Well, I'm going to go with Saw 1.
Okay. That's good.
It keeps you guessing. You know what's going on. These people are in these situations, but the whole the bouncing around with the time is interesting. The concept of trying to get out of these horrific situations by a horrific escape it makes you think, like, could I do that? Like, could I cut something out of my body to live? Or and the sequels really just took it all over the place. That should have been one and done, and it would have been perfect like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that final scene, I mean, come on.
That's one of the best twists in any movie.
Denouements ever. Right. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just, you'd never see it coming. And then it's just mind blowing. I mean, it's brutal, it's graphic, but it's not, I don't feel like it was gratuitous. Like, I never liked that Hostel movie because I just thought it was just gore for the sake of gore. There was no, this like made sense. Like, it had to be gory, so you felt the actual stress of the decisions that these guys were making. And could I do that? And, oh man, some of those, like that, the reverse bear trap. I mean, come on, that's just it's one of the freakiest things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So,
like you said,
great soundtrack too. Really awesome soundtrack. And you got Carrie Yules, so you got the Princess Bride dude. So that's kind of awesome too.
Yeah, right. No, that's a good point though. Like, some movies where they just are using blood and gore for no reason, but if it adds to the plot, that really, makes it a better quality movie. Agreed. All right. I have the next pick coming up, 27. I'm looking on my list here. I'm going to go, oh man, so many that I am going to leave off. I'm going to go with the Blair Witch Project because here's why. Because I think if you don't have the Blair Witch Project, you don't get Paranormal Activity down the road. It's kind of like that found footage, scary. At the time Blair Witch came out, it was kind of like right when the internet was coming out. And so you couldn't do a whole lot of research. A lot of people that went to see this movie thought it was real life, legit found footage that they turned into a movie. Obviously it wasn't. But when you went, if you thought that was real, you were creeped the F out. And, not to mention, it's just like, you don't know what's going on. You can't, I think Laura had mentioned it, kind of like even in the Jeepers Creepers thing. I think it's like that unknown that you can't see, that you don't understand what is there. Like,
you never
makes
see it. The entire movie, they never reveal
exactly.
it.
Exactly.
See a guy in a corner. That's about it.
Exactly.
I have a fun story about the Blair Witch.
Yeah, go for it. Hey, go ahead right now. If you
Jen and I, my younger sister and I went and saw it in the theater. We were absolutely petrified. And we were in high school, 17, 18, when it came out. We watched it. And if you remember, the Blair Witch was supposed to be hairy. Remember, she was supposed to be covered in fur.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, she was. So part of the lore was she was supposed to be really furry.
Okay.
I had just gotten my dog. And I guess in the middle of the night,
shaved your legs.
Yeah, middle of the night. That's now. Middle of the night, I guess my dog came and brushed up against my younger sister in bed. She wakes up screaming, "She's got me! She's got me!" And for the next 2 weeks, we actually shared a bed because we were so afraid.
Oh my God!
We wouldn't sleep for 2 weeks. Now, I'd like to pretend that, I was very young, but I was about 18.
All right. That's okay. Hey, if it's creepy, it's creepy. I don't care how old you are.
It was just creepy enough that her and I went, this is normal.
Yeah,
I remember people throwing up in the theater.
Really?
Because of like the camera.
Like the shaky camera.
The whole found footage. That really wasn't a thing before that.
Mm-hmm.
It really wasn't. That is what introduced.
I remember like one guy like threw up in the theater and they were like, what's going on? It's not gross. But just like the whole moving around, he couldn't handle it.
And that dude throws away the map too. Why are you throwing away the map? You're in the woods. So
yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Well, he didn't have a phone with GPS yet, so
exactly.
Really
yeah. Neither
really
here nor there. All right. We're gonna go on to Doug. Doug is actually going to finish his draft here. He's got 2 picks, number 28 and 29.
Okay, so I gotta go newer here. Well, compared to my other picks, and the Strangers.
Man.
That I mean, for ones at least that have come out since I've been an adult, that's probably my favorite. That really fits the realistic aspect that I like about a horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to take that one with my 7th pick.
Yeah, and like you said, I think that legitimately could be the scariest one on this list in a way, because that shit could really happen. And that is absolutely frightening. It's basically a home invasion, and they're stalking you. So
with masks.
Yeah, like with masks, with creepy masks.
Yeah.
All right, Doug, and that's what's his name's daughter in that movie, right? Aerosmith's daughter.
Liv
Tyler.
Liv Tyler.
Yeah.
So that one was 2008, by the way.
2008. Okay.
Yeah. So
it was really that long ago.
Yeah, 2008.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I know.
Now to get my final decade, I'm torn between the 30s and the 2010s for my last movie. I'll go 2010 just because I have so many that are older. I'm gonna go with The Purge.
Okay.
Because that's another one. I mean, kind of similar to Strangers.
Great concept.
That can happen. You never know.
It almost happened in January, didn't it?
Right. Yes.
Not to get too political, but it almost happened in January.
Yeah.
They didn't bring their masks.
So, yeah, that's another one of those that's, since I've been an adult, that's come out. That's a pretty good one.
Yeah, that is good. And so, Doug,
the TV series. I've never seen the show.
There's a TV series?
I think it's on like USA or something.
Really?
Huh.
Yeah, there's like a Purge show.
Really?
Interesting. Okay.
How would you make that show?
Just really drag out like 24. They made a day of show. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, Doug, you literally have 8 different decades represented. That's pretty impressive. 80 years of movie. Yeah,
I passed up a lot of movies that I really like. Okay. But I wanted to try to go for one for each decade, just to spread it out here.
Once we finish these last 3 picks, we won't like go too in depth with them, but you guys can fire off some honorable mentions or maybe like movies we didn't talk about too much. So, all right, I'm going to finish my draft here, and I feel like I just have to take this movie because of the age I was, I think, when I saw it, and there was multiple sequels. But one of the lead main villains absolutely scared the hell out of me as a kid. But I'm gonna go with Poltergeist because that, I don't even know what that dude's name was, but that old guy was the creepiest thing of all time. And I'm sure a lot of people know, but Poltergeist, a lot of those actors and actresses in that movie ended up having like a lot of bad things happen to them in real life, like a lot of deaths because of that.
The little girl died.
Yeah. She had some sort of issue where I think it was like a digestive issue where she couldn't even go to the bathroom. So it was like she just died. It was really sad. So I mean, whatever it might be, either way, like I think at least 3 people from that movie have died or had, lots
there's all kinds of like cursed stories about that whole production. Great movie.
Didn't the oldest sister get murdered by her ex-boyfriend or stalker type deal?
I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're
How about that clown toy?
Oh my God. Yeah.
I've never liked clowns.
Yeah. Well, I was actually thinking about taking, and if somebody takes it or somebody takes it later. Sorry, but I was thinking about taking it, but actually the clown is kind of represent the first one. The first one. The second one's too Hollywood. So but the first one, the remake.
The Tim Curry one?
Well, the movie. The first movie remake of the Tim
it's
Curry
definitely
one.
better than the second one, but yeah.
No doubt.
Part one's better than part two.
Yes.
Agreed.
Bill Skarsgård did an amazing job.
Great Pennywise.
Mhm.
Tim Curry was a great Pennywise.
Oh yeah,
for different reasons.
So well, based on your guys' elaboration, it's almost like I got a free pick there, so that's kind of nice. Well, Matt, you got you're gonna finish out your draft. This is pick 31 overall.
Well, if we're gonna be talking about great movies from growing up and stuff, I'm gonna pick the quintessential movie from when we were in high school, which was the late 90s. The quintessential horror movie, which was a great tribute and jab at all the older horror movies from the 80s and 70s. Another Wes Craven. We're gonna go with Scream.
Nice.
Because
I knew that was going to be on your list.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just take it off the mind.
I mean, you kill off your biggest name star right at the beginning.
No one expected.
No one thinks Drew Barrymore is going to die in the first 5 minutes. And I'm going to give a ton of spoilers. So if you haven't seen Scream by now, then
shame on you.
Too bad. So you do that. You got Courtney Cox, who's like rocking with the 90s with Friends. So she's got 90s fame.
Right.
Just rocking her up to the top there. Your final girl is Neve Campbell. She's basically she was on that show, but she was
on
Party of Five.
Party of Five. Thank you.
So she was on that already, right?
That was my show. Yeah.
Okay, so she actually was established by
yeah.
that. Yeah, you got Rose McGowan, you got David Arquette, which spawned the whole Arquette, Courtney Cox, whatever that was about.
Yeah.
Who else was in that movie? Jamie Kennedy was in it.
You're missing the most important person, Matthew Lillard.
Oh yeah.
Yes, Scooby Doo. Or Shaggy.
So mad at me.
You know who's in the sequels too? Is really great actor is Liev Schreiber.
Yes.
Yeah, but I mean, the plot was great. The reveal at the end is fantastic. It's back to that cool 80s slasher horror, but they hit every one of the rules that was established, and they still have to play by it.
Yeah,
and they
Jamie Kennedy, I think, broke it down in the movie.
And then he does it in the sequel, and then for the trilogy. I mean, it's just so well done, and very nice tongue-in-cheek analysis of everything they'd done before. Yeah, and it was done by Wes Craven, who did that. I mean, he even took a jab.
Those rules.
Yeah, they have like the janitor in the hallway has the orange or the red and green striped sweater, and they call him Fred. Henry Winkler's in it too.
Yeah,
the Fonz. He's the principal.
Interesting. Okay,
So,
I'll have to look for that. I never
cast.
noticed that.
You got a great cast. You got interesting kills. I mean, kills with the dog door and the garage door going up. That's pretty sweet.
Oh, that was a good one. Oh, who
I
was
want a garage door that's strong. It would never break.
What's her name?
That was Rose McGowan.
Yeah, Rose McGowan.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's a classic too, and that's one of those good ones that's like, horror comedy as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I like it. All right, Laura, you are up. You started the draft. You're gonna finish it here. So you got the last pick here.
All right. I'm going to skip a few things because I noticed none of us really mentioned a lot of foreign films.
Sure.
So I'm going to bring back another one, The Audition. You know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a Japanese movie, came out early 2000s?
Yeah.
Something like that. This guy's single. His friends decide to set up, and he's rich, he's single. He can't find anyone. So they set up this fake audition for him to cast women for a role, not really knowing that they're actually being set up for a date. So he picks one, and she ends up being batshit crazy to the point where she does things to him that they're so meticulous, and she does it quietly without saying a word. There's a scene where she takes a piano cord and wraps it around his ankle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then slowly starts cutting off his foot so she can't get away. So he can't crawl away from her. And she does it in this silent, just calm fashion that I have never felt more like, oh, that's why you don't date crazy moment. And it was very well done. The whole movie was very well done, but I just remember that scene specifically going, oh, don't date her. That's why you don't get crazy off the internet.
Yeah, it's an interesting, that was a Japanese movie from the early 2000s. And right around then was when we were starting to make remakes of all these Japanese movies here, but it was all supernatural. We were getting, The Ring. We got, what's that one? The Grudge.
That was a good one.
What's that one with like the dead people coming out of like the washing machine or whatever? And they have to put red tape up over. Pulse.
That's actually on my list.
Yeah.
Because I love Pulse.
The Japanese one is so freaky.
Oh, but honestly,
the American one was okay,
really
but
too.
Yeah, the Japanese one was just.
Yeah, that's
Japanese horror. That's just a whole other level of.
This is my number 10.
Okay. Hey,
but this is neat because it's like, yeah, everything Japan does isn't supernatural and like really.
Yeah,
off the wall, spooky.
This was just
and creepy.
A crazy lady that you shouldn't have dated.
Okay.
And she proceeds to just do horrifying things.
Interesting.
And then you actually at the very end.
It was like Misery taken to the next level.
Yeah, it was Misery here.
I mean, that scene with the hammer and the log, though, that's one of the harshest scenes ever.
That should have been on my list.
That was the first rated R movie I ever saw. Was Misery.
Really? Mine was
with Jared Ingram. Because Dad rented it and he left. We just put it in and watched it.
Love it.
We were like 8.
Hey,
probably not a good idea.
Let's do this because we just got about 2 minutes left. So no discussions on it, nothing like that. Any movies on your list that we missed? Doug, let's start with you. If you just rapid fire, name them off.
Okay, I'm gonna Friday the 13th. Silence of the Lambs, I Know What You Did Last Summer, and Zombieland.
Okay. Matt, let's go to you.
Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Night of the Living Dead, Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon, Alien, Jaws, A Quiet Place, Paranormal Activity 1, Diary of the Dead, Friday the 13th Part 4, Child's Play, and Hush.
Okay. Laura?
The Fly, Amityville Horror, Goodnight Mommy, The Lost Boys, Heredity, Let the Right One In, Last Door on the Left, and 28 Days Later.
Original or remake of Last Door on the Left?
Both.
Okay.
Fair enough. Another Wes Craven, I believe.
I have.
Or Tobe Hooper?
I don't know. I'll have to look.
I don't know if this one's been mentioned. Insidious. Good one.
Good one.
Dead Silence. One with like the puppets and stuff. Creepy.
The dead people are so freak looking in that movie. Love it.
The Omen. The original more so than the remake. 1408. Another good one. Pet Cemetery.
Which one?
The one with the judge from My Cousin Vinny.
Yeah. The original.
I like the new one.
I didn't watch the new one.
So
good. Pumpkinhead, and I got a few more in there. Carrie. And Vivarium. Weird movie, not a classic horror, but weird. So this was fun, guys. I appreciate you. This is gonna hopefully give a lot of people some ideas for Halloween. So this was good. We'll definitely do another genre of this again. So,
ready when you are.
We were talking about video games next.
All right. We'll look into that.
There's a whole list of horror film video games we should talk about.
Okay. All right. We'll get